Hello everybody, this is a video. It's basically a summary of modification I made to my 650 Ural M-66 earlier this season. As you can see, I installed cylinder heads off the brand new 750, and it does cost a little bit of money to get them, but they're worth it because you cannot get good quality parts for 650 anymore, and cylinder heads are crucial, you know. It's one of the things that makes the whole bike run properly. So in order to do that with your stock 650 cylinders and pistons, basically you're gonna, as you can see, I drilled it all the way through the ribs here. You just put the cylinder on the milling table, or a good drill press if you got it, and drill all the way through with a 7/16 drill bit, and all the way through the ribs. And you're gonna have to make the engine pins. I made them again out of a 7/16 roll and machined it down to 10 mil, threaded them. Lengths you're gonna have to see how much you need. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, and you're gonna have to change your rocker arms in here because on the 650 they're spaced narrowly, and 750 they're spaced wider. So you have to use the 750 rocker arms for the particular bolt pattern. And yeah, everything just fits together just like that. You can use your stock push rods, steel ones from the 650, but I used the 750 push rods, which I shortened. I just pressed off the ends and cut off what I don't need, and just pressed them back together. They work just fine. And again, this is not the new motor. This is the old motor. Some people were skeptical if those heads fit and work at all, and yes, they do. It's you know, it's a bit of an operation, but if you got some machine shop experience, you can do this. And you can still see the old 6-volt generator. And yeah, you're gonna have to modify your exhaust pipes right here, the elbows, because I just welded the flange to them just to fit to the new heads. And the carbs, those are just a generic replacement 30mm carbs, like for a K-hen or whatever. And a couple of years ago I got one for my Honda 3-wheeler, and I was pretty happy with it, so I got two more and I put them on the Ural. Only difference is by default they come with a 100 cc, size 100 main jet, and you got to put something like a 125, 135 for it to run properly. But no issues at all. Starts and runs really good. It's been about 9,000 kilometers so far since the beginning of the season, and I haven't had any issues with this motor. I only adjusted once, maybe the valves, and that was about it. Now another thing, when you do change the heads, the oil drain on the 750 is located on the side of the cylinder head, whereas the oil drain on the old 650 cylinder is located right here in the middle. So what you got to do, you just got to machine in your cylinder head, because it's aluminum and it's easier, just a slot to connect them to. You're gonna have to see kind of where it is, you know, and cut a hole in your or just a little slot in your head gasket, just so the oil can drain. That's one of the things you have to do. Something else I did too is the gearbox itself. I've been having problems with it because it's been skipping gears and all that, and I took all the gears out and I put the gears from the new one, from the Herzog, made in Austria. Same ones come in new 750 models. Now the trick is, when you change it, you can't use the old gearbox that had no reverse, because the gears for the gearbox that have reverse or don't have it, they're not the same. They look the same, but tolerances are different, and half the gears are not going to work. So as you can see here, I got a gearbox from an old, well, actually late model 650 from like late 90s or something. I just gutted it and took the reverse out because I have it solo without the sidecar, and this hole here for the reverse lever, I plugged it with a spark plug. Just thread M14 thread in there, and you know, just a plug is a plug. I also changed the gear ratio in here. Instead of a stock 837 gear set, I put 1035, and you know what? It works awesome. It cruises at about 60 miles an hour, nice and easy. You know, you can probably go more, but for me that's a plenty. Yeah, and I'll show you what's up with the old gears too, because I have actually a couple here. As you can see, they engage by those little tiny teeth right here. That's where the collar goes, and it just kind of slams in and goes click like that. So if the gearbox is tuned properly and it's adjusted and everything, and whoever's using it is doing, you know, knows what he's doing, usually it's no problem. It lasts quite a bit. But a lot of people don't know, and they just slam gears, you know, kind of like on the hard, like ram in the first gear, you know what I mean? And it just kills those, literally. Those things don't last that way. So, but on a new one, on the Herzog gears, instead of those little interlocking teeth here, you have like a very robust protrusions coming out, which interlock with the other gear, just like on a Harley or any other gearbox. And it's not because it's bad materials, it's just because on the new one the design is way better than on the old one. Again, it hasn't been any problems since I changed the gears. Another thing too is since I'm using those stock 6-volt, like my old regulator here works pretty good, but just in case there's going to be any issues with it, at powerdynamo.biz they sell solid state regulator that fits instead of that one, just like this. It's not very expensive, you know. I mean, it comes with instructions. It's clearly marked how to hook it up using your stock connections. And so far my old 6-volt regulator works fine, but if there's going to be any issues at all, I'm just going to change it. I just have it on the shelf just in case. So yeah, the bike itself runs pretty good. Like I said, I put about 9,000 kilometers on it so far, and you know, without any major problems. See if I can start it up. As you can see, I put exhaust pipes off a Harley. They're from some kind of mid-90s Softail model, and so are the saddlebags. Gas, battery, ignition. As you can see, it runs really good, like a BMW or better. You just have to do right modifications for it to run properly. Technically, if I change the crankshaft and put longer cylinders, I could make it into a 750, but I'm pretty happy with the 650. Still using 6-volt and breaker points, and as you can see, I put 2 coils right here instead of the one under the cover, because the one under the cover has always been problems with it. So I just got 2 separate coils and did the same setup, kind of like in a Norton Commando, and yeah, it works great. So I hope this video is helpful.